Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Art Club. So, this month I thought we would talk about one of my favorite artists. And since February is Black History Month, I thought that this was a perfect month to discuss this artist. And so, this artist is Jean-Michel Basquiat. And so, again, one of my favorite artists. And so, to kind of teach you about him and his life, I am going to read you a story. Okay. So the book is called Radiant Child, the story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. So let's go ahead and find out about him and his life. Okay. Somewhere in Brooklyn, between hearts that thump, double Dutch and hopscotch, and salty mouths that slurp sweet ice, a little boy dreams of being a famous artist. In his house, you can tell a serious artist dwells. As he sits at a table with pencils scattered everywhere, Jean-Michel draws from morning until night with a serious face amid a storm of papers. He refuses to sleep until he has created a masterpiece. At night, images enchant Jean-Michel's mind, and he wakes from his dreams to add one more line. His drawings are not neat or clean, nor does he color inside the lines. They are sloppy, ugly, and sometimes weird, but somehow still beautiful. His art comes from his mother Mathilde, a Puerto Rican woman who designs and sews, cooks and cleans, and makes the house look like a stylish magazine. But most important, she lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel on his father's old work papers. From her, he learns that art is not only in the poetry books she reads to him, or in the theaters and museums they visit. Art is in the street games of little children, in our style and the words that we speak. It is how the messy patchwork of the city creates new meaning for ordinary things. While visiting the museum, they look at his favorite works of art. Reading the story behind each artist, reading the story behind each work. This is how Jean-Michel learns what it means to be a famous artist. Back at home, he creates art on the floor as his father Gerard plays jazz records. Mama Mathilde cooks arroz con pollo and calls Jean-Michel mi amor. The energy and life of the city can be felt in each line of his drawings. As time goes by, Jean-Michel learns that art has a healing power. After a car accident, he is scared and confused. Mathilde gives him a book to calm his fears. It is filled with pictures of bones, skulls, and other body parts. Jean-Michel draws from it until he knows it all by heart. He is no longer afraid. Back at home, Jean-Michel's body heals, but his heart breaks. His mother's mind is not well, and the family breaks. She no longer lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel, but sits by the window, singing only to birds. Jean-Michel is confused and filled with a terrible blues when Mathilde can no longer live at home. He tries drawing the terrible out of his blues, but things are not the same. As Jean-Michel grows older, he visits his mother when he can, always bringing his artwork to show, telling her that one day it will be in a museum when I am a famous artist. A teenager now, Jean-Michel decides, Papa, I will be very, very famous one day. With a sly look, a twinkle in his eye, Jean-Michel leaves Brooklyn for New York City, the Lower East Side, a concrete jungle where only the tough survive. During the day, dressed in a green jumpsuit splattered with paint, Jean-Michel stays with friends, sleeping on couches and floors, leaving a barrage of collages and poem-filled papers everywhere he goes. At night, Jean-Michel spray paints the walls downtown with poems and drawings that catch the eye of artists, gallery goers, and passerby. Under his art, he signs the name Samo instead of Jean-Michel. Everyone wants to know, who is Samo? Samo moves from street corners to art gallery walls with powerful color composition and line, collaging and painting on anything he can find. His art is not clean or neat, and definitely not inside the lines, but somehow still beautiful. With his magical charm, Jean-Michel draws a crowd, but when it's time to work, he prefers to be alone, with the radio and TV on full blast. Now in expensive suits splattered with paint, he flips through stacks of magazines and open books and paints into the night, and sometimes for days at a time, while sounds and images jump into his head. Jean-Michel, an artist among artists, never doubts one line, creating from a soundtrack that is all his own. People describe him as radiant, wild, a genius child, but in his heart he is king, so he draws crowns for himself and others he admires. A grown man now, with the art world in his hands, Jean-Michel still visits his mother when he can. And at his most important shows, above all the critics, fans, and other artists he admires, the place of honor is his mother's, a queen on a throne. He is now a famous artist. The end. So Basquiat overcame a lot, and as the book said, he was in an accident when he was younger, and his mother gave him a copy of Gray's Anatomy, which is like a textbook on the human body, and he did study it and draw a lot from it. So in his artwork, you can see a lot of bones and skeletons and skulls, and we're going to look at a few of his pictures here as well. He did unfortunately die, I believe in 1988. He was 27 years old. So he was very young when he died, but his artwork has become very, very famous and has sold for millions and millions of dollars. So kind of a sad story, but his artwork is so vibrant and so alive and so full of motion and color. So I thought it would be really cool to look at a few pieces. So let's take a look at some of those. This one is one of my favorites, and probably the one that I'm going to use to do my own art project this month. This one it's a dinosaur, as you can tell, and he has a crown as well. Why do you think the dinosaur might have a crown? He also, it's only a few colors, black, white, red, and yellow, but it still looks very bright and colorful, even though there's only 4 colors. So and again, the artwork is not perfect. It's not very clean. Sometimes it goes outside the lines, and that's all okay. It's still art. And so keep that in mind when you're creating this month. Here are some of the more graffiti style artworks, but you can see the way that he did faces here, and it's very, very strange. The noses are not shaped like noses. Like this one here looks just like an upside down T. And this one is just a triangle. And they've got like these big eyes, not super defined. The hair is just like lines sticking up, and then the teeth it looks like a checkerboard almost. But like you can tell that they're faces. They're just not very, very detailed faces. And then again, lots of colors in the background. Some words in the background, and then of course his tag Samo, which he used to kind of like sign his artwork, but not really as himself. Although he did sign his artwork with his own name, as you can see here in this one. So when you create yours, make sure you sign either with like a nickname or your own name. And the other thing that's fun to do, I think I'm going to try this in my project as well, make the background super duper colorful and then use just a couple colors like brown and black to draw the main thing and then highlight it with white. You can see there's just like some white lines here, and it's not like a perfect outline in white, but there's some white accent colors here, and it makes it really bright, makes it really stand out against that colorful background. And here's the last one we'll look at. This is another couple of people. Again, you can tell that they're people, not super detailed. You know, again, with like the nose being that kind of strange shape and the teeth looking like the way that they do the hair. And also you can see like they've got like these stick figure arms, like not very like detailed or realistic, I guess, paintings, but still full of color and motion. What do you think of this artwork? Do you feel like it's real art, or do you think it's just kind of like scribble scrabble? um, Again, his artwork is very, very valuable now. And even at the time, I think people realized it was something special, even if they didn't quite understand why or how. So this month, go ahead and make something inspired by Basquiat. It can be really colorful. Like I say, dinosaurs are a good way to start. I think I'm probably going to do that. And again, like use some dashes, some outlines of white to make it colorful. If you do faces, again, it doesn't have to be super detailed. Like sometimes the noses are just a square or a triangle. That's okay. Don't have to have a lot of skill, just have to kind of have a sense of fun for Basquiat's artwork. So I hope that you're enjoying these videos. Again, if you do make some artwork, make sure that you tag us on social media at Maitland Public Library. We're on Instagram and Facebook, or you can use our hashtag MPL Art Club, and I will find your artwork and we can share it in our next video. So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. And I hope that you guys have an excellent week and a good month. I will see you all next time. Bye.